Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, I'm author and publisher Traci L. Slatton. It's my belief that the most interesting, creative, and original voices today are heard outside of the big corporations, studios, and galleries. Individuals of courage, inspiration, and vision are seizing the opportunities to create and promote their art themselves. I'm here to support them and to bring their stories to you. On this show, I'll interview independent artists of all kinds, unusual thinkers, and even some healers about their process. How do they do it? How do they start with an idea and bring it to life in the world? This show intends to illuminate the journey. Feel free to call in to 516-453-6052 with questions, or live chat with me at blogtalkradio.com/independent artists thinkers. Great to have you with us. Hi, this is Traci L. Slatton, hosting Independent Artists and Thinkers, and today I'm airing a very short show just to convey my gratitude to and for all of my guests and listeners, and to offer some information and announcements that might be of use to listeners. Please do call in with questions or comments to 516-453-6052. You can also live chat me at blogtalkradio.com/independent artist thinkers, and I'm online now. Email me in between guests if you'd like to suggest a guest or have me ask questions of a particular guest. You can reach me at traci@tracilslatton.com. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'd like to start off by saying how very happy and grateful I am that people are listening. I hope you're enjoying the show, and it's great to have you. Thanks for listening in. And I'd like to wish everyone a joyful Thanksgiving. May your lives be full to overflowing with gifts for which you are truly thankful. I created this show to support those brave souls who are operating outside the structures of the big established corporations. As the intro to the show says, I intend to illuminate the unusual journey and to bring it to you. I'm interested in alternatives to conventional thinking and conventional answers. I'm interested in creativity, fresh ideas, unusual perspectives, and originality. And this show aims to bring you models of people who embody those qualities. So if you know somebody who's an original thinker, please have them contact me, or you contact me and I'll shoot them an email. But let's get them on to talk about how they do it, how they can be so unconventional. And because it's Thanksgiving, and I'm so grateful to everyone who's been on the show, I'd like to mention some of these wonderful guests who've been on the show, especially those who are affiliated with worthy projects, although all of the guests to date have just been absolutely spectacular people, and I'm so happy and grateful they've been on the show. Lori Belila, the founder and artistic director of the Isadora Duncan Dance Foundation, was my very first guest, and the Isadora Duncan Foundation is doing splendid work in, and I quote, their mission is to extend the dream, dance, and the indomitable spirit of the mother of modern dance, Isadora Duncan. Isadora Duncan Dance Foundation's mission is to maintain the legacy of American modern dance pioneer Isadora Duncan through performances and residencies, and to archive her works as priceless jewels of American modern dance, to create new choreography through resident performing troupe Lori Belila and the Isadora Duncan Dance Company, and to reach future generations of dancers via educational outreach programs designed for implementation in diverse, underserved communities that develop cultural appreciation, confidence, and encourage self-expression. So please go online to isadoraduncan.org to contribute to this worthy organization, and they do travel all over the world to spread this sort of creativity of this wonderful dance created by Isadora Duncan. Educational entrepreneur Tracy Gray was a guest on the show, and she had some absolutely fascinating things to say. And Tracy heads up the Sankofa Global Project, which supports underrepresented students by introducing and supporting them as they venture into the fields of science, technology, engineering, art, and math. This is really crucial, important work. So to people who are really concerned with causes of social justice and helping people who are underrepresented in these fields, think about giving. Especially in the season of giving, please think seriously about donating to this worthy and important organization. You can find out more about them at sankofaglobalproject.com, and Sankofa is spelled Sankofa globalproject.com, sankofaglobalproject.com. Dr. Bill Burnett is a psychiatrist leading the way in educating the general public, mental health clinicians, forensic practitioners, attorneys, and judges regarding parental alienation. This is a really sad and devastating phenomenon. It's a cause that's close to my heart. Dr. Burnett has founded the Parental Alienation Study Group for educational purposes and to develop and promote research on the causes, evaluation, and treatment of parental alienation. That can be found at pasg.info, and it is also a not-for-profit organization. I urge listeners to support the PASG, especially if you've been a targeted parent or if you know someone who's experienced this heartbreaking phenomenon. Dr. Craig Childress is a licensed clinical psychologist in Pasadena, California, who's done some very good work in this field as well, and his website can be found at drcraigchildressblog.com, and that's drcraigchildressblog.com. Both of those websites, pasg.info and drcraigchildressblog.com, contain a lot of information about parental alienation. So if you're interested in the phenomenon, or if you know someone who suffered through it, then check them out. And recently I came across a short blog post that explains it also very well. This website is therecoveryexpert.com. I think there's a lot of good information on there to help people. And the post was about narcissism and parental alienation. And that post really does a good job of sort of lucidly explaining the inauthentic attachment system that happens when one parent targets the other parent for alienation. And it can happen to either mothers or fathers. And that's at therecoveryexpert.com/2015/11/narcissism-and-parental-alienation-syndrome. So therecoveryexpert.com, but if you go there, you can find this great blog post that really explains it really well. At this point, I'd like to mention some of the terrific books written by guests of the show, and I'm going to forget some of them. I've written some of them down, but check out IndependentArtistThinkers.com to see all the books. Dr. Jane Eli is a master healer and counselor who's written a most beautiful book, Coming into Balance, A Guide for Activating Your True Potential. I'm going to acknowledge and say straight away that my indie press, Parvati Press, published this book, and I published it because I believe in it wholeheartedly. This is a beautiful, valuable, and important book for helping you make a shift in your life. Dr. Eli is also co-founder and dean of the Peacemaker School, which is an international school dedicated to teaching peacemaking, energy medicine, and conflict partnership. Isn't that important in today's world? You can find out more about Dr. Eli at drjaneeli.net. Then a friend of mine, Camilla Sutton, is a luminary in the field of Vedic astrology, and she's also a former Bollywood actress, and she has an incredible personal story, as well as deep, insightful understanding of the science of light. I recommend her books, The Nakshatras, The Stars Beyond the Zodiac, The Essentials of Vedic Astrology, and The Lunar Nodes, Crisis and Redemption. You can find out more about Camilla at camilla.com. And I'd like to mention my friend Lynn Bell, who is a wonderful Western astrologer who has some great books out there, including one I'm hoping she'll let me republish about solar returns. So Lynn Bell and Cycles of Light, Exploring the Mysteries of Solar Returns. Augustine Linus is a kind of all-around artist and author of various books such as The ABCs of Central Park and Tammy and Blue. And Tammy and Blue is a multimedia experience, very creative. You can find out more about Linus at sansong.com. I'd also like to mention sculptor and foundress In-Sun Kim, who sculpts wildly creative and beautiful trees, among other things, in metal. And you can find out more about her at morrisongallery.com/insun-kim-2015. So Morrison Gallery did a beautiful show of In-Sun's work, and it's really amazing and interesting stuff. At this point, I'm going to take the opportunity to mention something I've been researching this week, but also on and off for many decades, and that is specifically this week I've been researching Dr. Stephen Greer and the Disclosure Project, and I viewed his 2015 webinar on the deep national security state and the link between UFOs and the suppressed technology. I saw that last Saturday. It was fantastic. I recommend everyone. His webinar also discussed the covert multinational group of individuals with ties to large corporations who are operating illegally without congressional or presidential oversight to maintain secrecy about extraterrestrials and about a highly sophisticated non-fossil fuel energy technology. And this is the same group about whom President Eisenhower warned us when he admonished us to beware the military-industrial complex. I don't know if you have to believe everything Greer is saying. I find him to be compelling and believable. And maybe he is making everything up out of whole cloth. But if even, say, 10 or 20% of what he's saying is true, then we're in trouble. We've got a small, money-hungry, power-mad group of crazies who are running our world for their own profit, and not just our country, but really our world. And they are suppressing technology which could free us from all kinds of evils in our world, including poverty and climatic change. And, you know, this is serious. This is important. I've been researching Tesla for years out of my own interest in non-fossil fuel energy sources. And I've also been researching ETs. And what I can say about ETs is that they are definitely here in the astral plane. I've done a lot of research and experimentation into meditation and altered states of consciousness. And this is not unique to me. Anyone who goes deeply into those sorts of meditative states and a profound shift of consciousness where your thoughts become very coherent, they will tell you that as soon as you reach a certain state of consciousness, you encounter other consciousnesses, other beings, other entities. You just do. I mean, even Patanjali wrote about this in the Yoga Sutras. They're just there if you start to work with your own consciousness. I don't recommend drugs for this kind of exploration because from what I've seen, drugs damage the energy centers that are also perceptual centers. So I don't recommend drugs. I do recommend plain old daily meditation, prayer, and chanting because those will get you there from here. So, and parenthetically in this vein, if you'd like to experience clairvoyance for yourself, seeing auras for yourself, here's an easy way. And do it when you're not altered on alcohol or substances. And that is lie or sit on your bed or on a couch in a dim room, not in a dark room or a bright room, but a room with very low light, a little bit of light, but low light. Hold your hands up and relax. And after a while, you will see a feathery outlines around your hands, and that's the energy field. That's the human energy field around the hands. It's not hard to see. It is easier to see it if you haven't been drinking alcohol or taking substances. And you should note that it is a received perception. Don't be aggressive. Your eyes don't go out and grab what they're seeing. They just soften and allow. And that kind of, when you go into that relaxed state, you'll see around your hands. And this is a really easy way. And I think the next step after that is have someone else in the room with you, being quiet, maybe sitting on a stool nearby, and look around their head and around their shoulders and head. But especially in the United States, you know, our heads are full of energy. So you'll see a lot going on around people's heads energetically. The human energy field can be seen. It's not that hard to teach yourself and train yourself to see it. Start in a dim room with low light and be relaxed, and don't try to grab with your eyes. Just relax. So back to what I was saying about Dr. Stephen Greer and extraterrestrials. I've done a lot of work and exploration in consciousness, and I can say without reservation that the ETs are real in the astral plane. And I had the good fortune to meet Bud Hopkins before he died. He was, like my husband, an artist. He was a very good artist. Some of his paintings hang in the MoMA. And when I met Bud, I don't know, the second or third time, I said to him, Bud, I know they're here in the astral plane. I just can't verify that they're here in the physical realm. And Bud said to me, Traci, they're here. They're here in the physical plane. So I would like to kick a tire. I'm just that sort. still, there's a lot of really great investigation into the matter of extraterrestrials that has been done for decades. And even though ufology is a field torn by internal strife and sometimes utter stupidity, there are numerous people in all walks of life, from all educational and socioeconomic backgrounds, who are saying that ETs are here, and they have been here for centuries observing us. And some of these people are highly placed in the government even. So with all this said, I think Stephen Greer's work is worth investigating. And you can go to sirisdisclosure.com or SiriusDisclosure.com, SIRIUS disclosure.com to find out more. And also you can watch some of Dr. Greer's videos on YouTube and Vimeo and just take a look, see what you think. And Dr. Greer talks about making networks. So think who you know who knows something real and get them in touch with Dr. Greer and his organization. One thing I like about Stephen Greer is he's not just saying they're here for the prurient value of what it means to have ETs here. He's talking about the transdimensional of extraterrestrial technology and extraterrestrial consciousness. And he's talking about how we need a coherent field of consciousness to access it. To make contact, and he leads groups in going out and meditating and reaching a deep, he calls it samadhi, and you reach this deep state and the ETs will come. The craft will fly overhead. He's got them on videotape. He's led many groups who've had the same experience. But I like what he's saying about this coherent field of consciousness, and I think it's really important. And I think there's more than one path to getting there. And this leads to another guest who's been on my show, which was psychotherapist and author David Rico, whose books are one way, or they show one way, a path to a more coherent field of personal consciousness. So I love his books, The Power of Grace and How to Be an Adult, How to Be an Adult in Love. Dave Rico has written many books. They are, I find them, they're like eating flourless chocolate torte. You know, I can have a little tiny slice, and then I have to stop because I'm completely saturated, and I have to process and metabolize. So I find reading Dave Rico's books are like that: The Power of Grace, How to Be an Adult, How to Be an Adult in Love, and he's writing about the sort of personal transformation and personal ownership. Oh, and I think my favorite book right now is The 5 Things We Cannot Change. And those are really important because this is about growing up. And Dr. Greer talks about how, you know, the ETs are kind of waiting for the primates to grow up and stop bashing each other over the head. And I think we the people will have more impact with that covert group of, Greer calls them like neo-Nazi fascists who are controlling the information and the technology. We will have more impact on them to kind of step down and step into a global collective if we are individually pursuing our own, you know, personal rectification of consciousness, if we're all individually going into a coherent field of consciousness. And so I want to recommend Dave Rico's books because I think working with some of the ideas he's presenting can help you achieve a more coherent field of energy consciousness and kind of help you deal with the vagaries of human life, because human life goes up and down. But today is a day to be grateful and to say thanks. And I am very grateful to my family and friends, Sabin and Madeline and Julia and Jessica and Naomi. I love you, and you know you guys are great. And Lori and Michelle and Gerda and Jan, I love you guys. You know, Stu and Linda, you guys rock. And to everyone in the inner circle whose names I haven't mentioned, you know who you are, and you know I love you. So thanks for being part of my life. To Sabin, thank you for the incredible and immense support. You're amazing. And to all my listeners, thank you very much for all of your support over the last 7-8 months as I've been doing this show. I hope you continue to tune in and send comments, send questions, and send ideas for new shows. And I'd like to close with a quote from the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Sogyal Rinpoche. And this is a beautiful book, and it's a bit, for me, a bit like Dave Rico's books. I can read a little bit, and then I'm saturated, and I have to go metabolize and process, and then I can come back and read a little more. And about 2 weeks ago, I happened to pick it up, and it opened up to this page, and this statement jumped out at me. And so I want to read it and leave it as a Thanksgiving thought. And we live in this strife-torn world, and but we can each make a difference. So here's the quote on page 173 if you have this beautiful book. The most essential thing in life is to establish an unafraid, heartfelt communication with others. So with that, I'd like to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and so much to be grateful for. Next week, we've got the amazing and wonderful Mary T. Brown on, and after that, Yvonne Lieblein, and after that, Victoria Pratt. So we've got some great guests coming up. They also have books. Mary T. Brown's got a bunch of great books. Yvonne has a book coming out in December. Victoria's got a romance novel out. So tune in and listen in and send some emails. Happy Thanksgiving. Take care. This has been Traci L. Slatton on the Independent Artists and Thinkers Network. Thanks for joining us. Come back next week.